All right, everybody, this is my sister's car, and it has a really particular, terrible, bad, the worst that it gets issue. And basically what's going on, well, I'll get into that. Okay, so here's what's going on. So we're driving the car right now, and I've been driving it for a little bit here, and it's acting normal. However, I don't have any heat coming out of the dash, and the temperature gauge is reading normal, but after you drive it for about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, the temperature gauge starts to overheat and it gets really hot. And so basically what we came up with was, unfortunately, after bleeding the system a bunch of times, and we got all the air out of the system. However, it just keeps getting more and more air in the system. Thus, it's coming from the head gaskets.
This is what a cylinder head gasket looks like. It's made up of multi-layered steel. It is located between the cylinder head and the engine block. Its main function is to create a tight seal between the engine block and cylinder head, preventing a mixing of coolant and engine oil while containing a combustion pressure within the cylinders. Here is how the head gasket failed on my sister's car. You can see coolant is leaking onto the outside of the block. Here is another example of a head gasket failure. As you can see, coolant is leaking into the oil. As you can see right here in the cooling system, cooling reservoir, look at all that air getting pumped into that. So we have a very mild yet unfortunate head gasket leak. So let me explain to you how I'm gonna fix it. Okay, so the dealership wanted like $14,000 in parts and around like $3,000 in labor to fix my sister's car. So I came up with the bright idea to purchase a junkyard / crashed salvage car and remove the components that we needed to fix it. And well, I thought I was just gonna do an engine, and it kind of turned into a lot more. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, guys, check it out. Got my sister's parts car. They took a really gnarly hit in the front, so I hope the engine and trans is okay, but we made it. All right, update on my sister's parts car.
We got the whole front end ripped off this thing now. Pulled all the damaged pieces off. Engine didn't take any damage really, just kind of this guy right here and this sensor, and everything else is savable. So we're gonna drop the whole cradle and ideally get everything out in one piece. So that'll be awesome. All right, hang on. All right, keep going. All right, hang on. All right, keep going. Keep going. All right, hang on. Let's make sure this is all loose. Looks like it is. All right, go up.
This is tight. You know what that is?
What?
That yellow wire. Oh, this is. All right, Cody.
Keep going. Oh! That's probably just the strut on that side.
Yep.
Dropping. Okay.
Oh, the strut on your side.
Look on this side. Yeah. It's dropped.
Yeah, we're good.
All right, go ahead, go up. All right.
Rolling this way a little bit, Joe. You want to make sure to.
Yeah, I saw that. All right, go ahead. All right. We got the whole assembly dropped. It was almost catastrophic, but we got her. Here is transmission, engine, struts, transfer case, everything. All right, so we're attempting to pull it back on the trailer without any front axles or wheels or anything. So what we did was we put 2 jacks on both frame rails, and everything's loose down there. So ideally, this should be able to just winch right up onto the trailer. All right, winching that sucker up there. Oh yeah, nice. All right, we're gonna clear. Yeah, not quite, but we're good. Just put $2 on the front frame rails there. Got Dad in there steering. All right, here we go. We got her lifted up. All right, we're getting closer. Got that one pulled, front end's off this one. Almost there. All right, got the old assembly out. Got the new assembly out of the other car. The only thing that I've found is this one had an accessory transmission cooler, so I think I'm just gonna swap the coolers. Swap these pieces that's broken right here. This fuel line right here looked like it got crimped a little bit, so I'm gonna swap those too. But yeah, all in all, it's going pretty smoothly.
And these were my famous last words.
All right, I found a broken wire in the wiring harness, so I decided that I'm just gonna swap out the junkyard harness with the harness out of my sister's car. Also, while I'm here, I found out that the high pressure fuel pump pigtail's broken off that. So I'm gonna try, these are single use fuel pipes, so I'm gonna try to pull the pump with the fuel pipe at the same time. So we'll see what happens. All right, so while I was trying to get these fuel lines out, I couldn't because this fuel line was covered by the upper plenum, that guy right there. So I took it off, started pulling the lines out, and luckily I did that because my water outlet is totally smashed as well. So we're gonna have to exchange that also.
All right, well, we ran into some issues. So basically what happened was I was installing the wiring harness on this thing. Sorry, excuse me. And the injector connectors for the injectors underneath the plenum did not connect because my parts car is coming from a Kia. I'm installing it into a Hyundai. I figured they were the same, but they were a little different. So as you can see, this connector here, this is one of my fuel rails from my parts car, is smaller than this connector right here. So pulled it all back apart, swapped the injectors and fuel rails over, and then put it all back together. The harness is all good now. Everything connects, everything's good. I swapped my transmission cooler, so I didn't have that accessory cooler anymore, so that's good. I swapped my water outlet, and I swapped my Prindle switch, so those are all good. However, what I ran into is this. So I slid the old cradle and engine assembly over there to get it out of my way, and I noticed from here to here looked a little different than here to here. So I'm like, huh, that's strange. I wonder if that's gonna fit. So then I took my tape measure and I measured this point to this point. And well, what I found out was it is 1 inch shorter than what I need. So now I gotta swap the cradles and subframes. Struts are wrong, knuckles are wrong, CV axles are different. Yeah. So what I think I'm gonna do is we got this crane over here, and I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lift up the whole assembly on the crane, unbolt the cradle, drop it on the ground, slide it out of my way, grab the old cradle, mount it up, unbolt it all, drop it down, and I think that'll work. So that's what we're gonna do next. All right, so this worked out exactly how I wanted it to. I pulled the strut and knuckle assemblies off,
And then I just kind of lifted this up with the crane, and the subframe kind of flopped out of the way. But I got everything unbolted, so now I believe I can just lift this up, and that subframe should be free. I'm gonna lower this jack down, and we should be in good shape. And that's the subframe I need to keep. Boom. Look at that. Nice. All right, now I'm just gonna wheel this thing out of the way, get that engine and transmission dropped back there, and then do the same with that guy right there. All right, here's my good engine with the bad subframe. Not bad, just wrong. As you can see, she's sitting right there perfectly. So now I'm gonna rip that guy out, and I'll go grab my old subframe that matches the car, give her a quick little swap, and then we'll be in good shape. Alright, so update. Got that guy in there. Got my exhaust hooked up, my drive shaft hooked up. All the subframe bolts are in place. And I went to go throw the knuckles and struts in. And the CV axles lined up with all the splines and the hubs. However, they did not push in all the way because the tone ring is bigger on the Kia than it is on the Hyundai. And on top of that, I went to go pull my axle out, and I tried for an hour and I could not get that sucker out. So I ended up popping the axle end off and swapping it with the Kia one, which they're the exact same. And basically, all it is these bearings here, okay? And they sit on these little like ball joints, right? And then there's a snap ring in there. And that's it. So you pop that snap ring off that sits, you can see one of the grooves right there, but there's 3 of them, okay? You pop that off, you can slide your CV axle out, and then pull these guys off, and then just swap both ends. So if you run into that while you're doing one of these swaps, that's what I ended up having to do. Ideally, you'll be able to get the axle out and just swap it, but if you run into what I ran into, just do that. I also forgot to mention, when you pop off that single-use hose clamp, you know, that's like this guy right here, your spare intake boot from the old engine actually has a hose clamp that fits around the axle boot. So that's what I did. I ended up just ripping off my extra hose clamp and then putting it on that guy. moment we've all been waiting for.
When I bought this car, I bought it
Is
as
this
a
thing
non-runner
going
from the salvage
to
auction,
start?
so I wasn't sure if this was gonna run.
Let's see what happens. Gonna just prime the gas tank a couple times. Look at that. Every single light's on the dash. But it runs. Woo! Alrighty guys, check it out. This is my sister's car. Boom! No more lights. I finally figured out what was going on. So basically what happened was I had these codes stored in there, and I had that wheel speed sensor code that shut off my four-wheel drive system. So basically that threw up the whole Christmas tree, and what happened was I ended up trying to save the old ABS sensors, and I was able to save the one side, just not the other. So somewhere internally on this, it broke. So I literally just had to replace that. All my codes went away. Now we're in good shape, and my sister can come pick up her car. All right, you guys, we finished my sister's car. She's running good. Got the shop mostly cleaned. And that's a wrap. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Whoa.